Alright, let's talk about an album called Humble Quest by singer-songwriter, country music rebel, Maren Morris. Maren's career is a classic tale of grinding till you make it, but that's not to diminish her talent. After humble beginnings and county fair appearances throughout her home state of Texas, multiple rejections from talent search TV shows like American Idol and The Voice.
I have this very traumatic, vivid memory of auditioning for American Idol when I was 17. It's like a stadium cattle call, and you audition for a 20-year-old producer. My entire group got cut. I had to walk through the walk of shame out to the parking lot and find my mom's car. Now people audition with my songs on those shows.
Yeah.
So I just get the check in the mail.
Yeah, there you go.
And co-writing for other country stars like Tim McGraw, the brothers Osborne, and Kelly Clarkson, Maren Morris eventually broke through after relocating to Nashville and releasing her first big studio album in 2016, Hero, which generated her first chart-placing single, My Church, and an eventual Grammy accolade for Best Country Solo Performance. Her newfound commercial success was sustained and expanded after a collaboration with DJs Zedd and Gray in 2018, which produced the electro-pop earworm The Middle.
Oh, baby, why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little.
A wink at future crossover appeal for the decidedly country songstress. Her sophomore project, Girl, was released in 2019 to modest acclaim and garnered another chart-placing single, The Bones, followed closely by a supergroup collaboration, The Highwomen, featuring fellow female country artists Brandi Carlile, Amanda Shears, and Natalie Hemby, a cheeky and bold callback to The Highwaymen, which featured outlaw heavyweights Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Chris Christopherson, and Willie Nelson. The project drew additional praise for Maren's artistic ascension and more insight into her edgier tendencies and outspoken activist attitude. Maren's arrival was sturdy and yet still bubbling with potential, influenced by the grandiose belting of Katy Perry, the swagger of Linda Ronstadt, the hardiness of Leanne Rimes, and the funky tude of Chaka Khan. Maren arrives and moves with a gamut of style and pluck. Enter Humble Quest. After a lengthy delay due to the pandemic, Maren Morris resurfaced with resolve, and along with pop rock producer Greg Kurstin, cut a pretenseless project bursting with maturity, insightfulness, and romantic soul. Humble Quest captures the Texan singer in her artistic prime and gives a no-frills taste of what's to come. The album brings together multiple angles of Maren's personality and wit. Maren as a pop star, as a veteran of the music scene, as a grieving friend, a doting wife, a burgeoning artiste, as a new mom, and ultimately, a whimsical spirit. Maren took this opportunity to craft a comprehensive package of sneakily thought-spurring songs, spotlighting her hard-bitten vocal delivery with a sophistication molded over years of studied polish. The album came at a time of serious growth for Maren. She endured the pandemic while pregnant and experienced a great loss in her friend and collaborator, producer Michael Busby. This influenced the stylistic direction of Humble Quest and brought out a more sensitive side from Maren that helped make the album feel more timeless, perhaps even essential for the country genre. Take opening track, Circles Around This Town, a readily replayable single that hooks with the best of them and sports an insightful look into the ennui of the creative process.
I drove circles around this town, trying to ride circles around this town, trying to say something with meaning, something worth singing about.
Maren looks back and forward at her career and points out her disillusionment with stardom in droll fashion. Her sassy asides a charming hallmark of her brand of country, and something that has endeared her to a legion of fans who've come to see Maren as an outspoken paragon of cultural advocacy. She's unafraid to self-deprecate. She's grounded and genuine. The third track, I Can't Love You Anymore, is a delightful love song where Maren holds nothing back in her profession of adoration for her husband and fellow country artist, Ryan Hurd. a sickeningly sweet understanding of her feelings for someone she dearly admires and cherishes. She expresses herself with microscopic intensity, uncovering her feelings for the sake of creative integrity. The album at this point began to tighten its grip on my appreciation for unfussy jams of spiritual contentment and life-affirming values. Track 4, Humble Quest, speaks to Maren's ability to wring out almost every ounce of catchiness in her craft. She writes a subtly powerful message here that moves with conviction and spills over with her vulnerabilities on museum-esque display.
I'm on a humble quest, and am I do my best. Not gonna hold my breath, 'cause I still haven't found it yet.
The track is at the same time one of the more instrumentally interesting songs. It's big, soaring, and paired fittingly with a vocally grandiose delivery. Maren intends to stay humble amid the stardom, something that recalls her beginnings and helps keep her in touch with where she came from. The attitude is a refreshing slice of humility. Track 5, Background music, continues the win streak of formidable tracks. Here Maren sings of the bittersweet realization of how little time we all have with our loved ones and passions. We strive, and still strive some more to appreciate what we have, but ultimately, all will fade no matter how grand our scope. A beautiful sentiment, wrapped in self-effacing perspective. Maren belts out with intuition and tenderness. She offers her strongest vocal performance here, channeling a gospel-like tone that colors her truly a daughter of the South. Track 7, Tall Guys, comes off as a nod to the Dixie Chicks in its playful layout, a fun little ode to her husband and her appreciation for the vertically gifted men among us. It's a welcome little piece of fluff that keeps the album ticking at a consistent pace. Track 9 is an adorable little lullaby to her child, with whom she was pregnant during its creation. The metaphor of the hummingbird heartbeat is the most touching moment in an album bursting with them.
And it ended up becoming this triple entendre of like music and my like ink and then my little hummingbird heartbeat that was growing inside me with haze. And so it was almost like this lullaby that we got to write to my son before I ever met him.
At this point in the album, the emotional impact of the tracklist had dawned on me. I was glued to her every inflection and lyrical metaphor. I was having fun and learning something meaningful about one of my favorite artists, especially about how she views the world. It was a journey that was insightful but unassuming. It wasn't trying to be a concept album, but Maren Morris and company seemed to have inadvertently subverted expectations. This was unique. This was a callback to the tender-hearted, introspective eras of Dolly Parton. The last track is a tribute to Michael Busby and calcifies Maren's thought process. She wanted to make an album that would help her look back at this chapter in her life with tearful but rewarding reminiscence.
But I still got just one question that I can't work through. What would this world do without you? Oh, out of everybody, I'll only have one you. So what would my world do without you?
The album could have been better instrumentally. The songs eventually blend together toward the end of the track list, but the rest of the production is so strong, and the runtime so concise that that's barely felt anyway. The real highlights were the superb writing and Maren's unbending vocal performances. The album was about love, about life, and togetherness. It's a celebration. It's a masterwork for Maren, and truly depicts her as a startling creative in the country genre, similar to Casey Musgraves, Taylor Swift, and other country pop luminaries who found crossover success. Maren is on the cusp. Her recent collaboration with Zedd, Make You Say, further convinced me of her superstar potential.
You'll learn one day, I'm one in a million, maybe in a billion. And when it's too late, oh, I got a feeling you'll be in your feelings.
She has the voice, the type that can soar through a stadium, the type that can dig deep into Southern spirit and gospel, the type that can shake a rhythm into bubblegum sweetness. Her best is yet to come. Maren is a true rebel. She chose love. Humble Quest is a quietly triumphant stroke of authority over the country genre. Humble Quest gets a "she's much cooler than the Aldines could ever hope to be" out of 10.
Maren Morris looks like Jennifer Lawrence's less attractive sister.